Hello to all you parents out there. This is JP Mitchell, Mitch's beauty son, and I want to talk about my story with autism, and I want to explain my story with autism and how this is only just the beginning for you guys as well. And I want to talk about what therapy worked for me, my family, how I recovered from autism, how I went on to lead a normal, independent life, and all that good stuff. So let's begin. Let me start by introducing myself to you parents out there. My name is JP Mitchell. I'm Mitch's beauty son. I grew up in Suk here. I was born and raised here. Suk was my autism uh, background ideology, if you will, if you call it, where I had autism in this town. But now I've recovered from autism, and now I want to um, continue with these videos of mine to you know, to get the word out there, to get the message out there, to know that recovery is possible, that it's not guaranteed for your child, but it is possible. So let's begin. So my story begins, like I said, in 2003, 2004. But before that, I had no language before. So the first skills that you parents have to look out for is social skills. Many children with autism with social skills, lack of eye contact, um, can't play with a sibling or a peer, can't develop friendships or peer relationships. That's important. Children with autism have no communication, so no looking you in the eye, no talking to you, no speaking to you, no social interactions with you, can't can't say mommy or daddy, I love you, this and that. Um, So for my character, it was very imminent because I was placed onto the Marley autistic scale, and I don't think you parents out there realize how stressful, how hard it is to have a child diagnosed with autism. Mitch and Peggy knew of autism, but they didn't know about autism. We did a couple of projects. We did the Enscombs project at the Queen's Alexandra Children's Hospital in Vancouver, BC. And they specifically told us that, well, you're going to have to get ready for some get ready for some challenges with your son, because it's most likely he will probably never speak. He'll probably never talk. He will probably most likely will never get to high school. And that's what we were told by the professionals at the Queen Alexandra Children's Hospital, was that there was a 50% chance that that I that I might not that I may not recover from autism. So it was 50-50 on that. But the Ministry of Children and Family Development, aka MCFD, gave us hope. They provided the therapist for me, and it was done by the taxpayers. So for us as the Mitchell family, that was a blessing for us. That was a true blessing for our characters because because we just didn't know what to do. I would scream, I would kick, I would yell, I would cry. I wasn't even in control of my own body because I was lost in my own world. I didn't know how to respond to bullying. I was picked on relentlessly throughout Journey, uh, Journey Middle School, John Muir Elementary School, EMCS, Edward Mellon Community School a little bit. But as the therapy went on, you know, Mitch and Peggy did the polling where they got me the therapy, they got me the diagnosis, they got me on the right path, they gave me all the tools I needed, and I did the pushing where I was pushing myself to where I would learn how to speak, how to talk, how to communicate, how to develop friendships, how to develop relationships, with peers and all that. I would talk to people. Like, for example, I went around the restaurant down at the pier, down at the water dock there, the Stickleback restaurant. I went around the Stickleback restaurant and I asked people, what are you having for dinner? What are you eating? This and that. So that was a sign that I was communicating with other people. I was learning how to socialize with other people back when I wasn't able to, back when I couldn't do that. So that to me was great. That to me was amazing. And then as Journey Middle School came to an official close, once all the therapy was done, I got, some occupational therapy in school, which is where I was taught to learn how to read, how to write, doing PE therapy, textiles therapy, woodshop therapy, um, musical therapy, all that therapy I didn't have back then when I was autistic. And then I go into high school, which is Edward Milne Community School in Souk here, and I'm still doing the pushing, but I'm taking manly steps now because in my childhood it was baby steps. So I go through that, and then I go into the manly step part. So in EMCS, I'm speaking in full sentences in Edward Milne, as I call it, aka Edward Milne Community School. But before that, we go into Souk Options for Community Living, aka SOCLA, where we take the early diagnosis to them, and I get the gaps filled up, the development gap, the language gap. Those gaps are all filled up. And as I'm continuing through AMCS, Edward Milne Community School, I'm making friendships. I'm talking to people. I have this one conversation with this younger kid who was in grade 9. Him and I were talking about, who's your favorite GTA 5 character? And I'm doing things that I was never able to do, like hold a conversation, talk to people, speak to people, protect my friends like Michael and Peyton, and stand up to my bullying tormentors like Jacob, Calvin, Natasha, Dustin, and tell them to leave me alone. These were all things in my childhood with autism that I could have never have done. Because these were all things that I didn't understand from an autistic child's moral perspective. Because again, I was lost in my own world, so I couldn't have known what bullying was. I couldn't know what the word idiot was, because I didn't have any skills back then to know what these words or what anything was out there in the world. So by the time I go for grade 9, grade 10, and grade 11, grade 11 is where I'm 17 and I'm no longer autistic anymore. Now, what I mean by I'm not autistic anymore, let me explain it. So, not autistic anymore means that the signs are not there, the characteristics are not there, my autism is gone, and not autistic anymore means that I didn't roll on the floor, I didn't kick, I didn't scream, I didn't freak out, I didn't throw a fit or a temper tantrum, or hitting or biting people. That was what not autistic for me anymore was. And by the time I finished EMCS, I was 18 at the time. But not only did I finish EMCS as a natural high school graduate, I finished EMCS as a natural high school graduate, fully recovered from autism. So that to me was great. And at the age of 20, my details were all cleaned up. My symptoms were all gone. My diagnosis was officially gone in the dust behind me. So, for you parents out there who have kids with autism, this is only just the beginning. Excuse me. This is only just the beginning for you. This is only just starting. So, what I would like to know from you parents out there in the public is what intensive behavioral therapy is going to work for your child. What effective therapy is going to help you or your son or your daughter or your family? What diets did you put your child on? Was it the GAPS diet? Was it the gluten-free, casein-free diet? Just what therapy is going to work for your family. And how did you get your social worker? Did you get it for the Ministry of Children and Family Development, aka MCFD? What are your plans for your child's future? Just all these questions I would love to ask you, parents and the public. And this is something that I'm going to be asking you because this is information that you parents out there will need. First of all, what you parents need to know is that you need to do the pull-in. You gotta put your child to get you gotta get your child the therapist, the early diagnosis, and you need to put your child on the right path towards recovery. Then your child needs to be the one to do the pushing, to push himself, to push him or herself, him or her, whatever child is diagnosed with autism first. They need, they need to do the pushing where they have to push themselves out of the world of autism into the world of normality. So that's my story, and I hope that all you parents like it. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get this video going, guys. Let's do it.